It's a little before 10 o'clock Saturday morning. I found this morning that I'm getting a nice little zit on my nose, which is annoying, but it is also telling me that I've been eating too much chocolate. After taking that much needed break yesterday, I'm ready today to tackle Lissidie's revisions and finish that today. I'm going to guess that I can get that done before dinner. If that's the case, I might decide to chill after dinner, just because there's so many people that are leaving on Sunday, about 4 or 5 leaving at the same time, and I want to make sure I have the opportunity to spend a little bit of time with them before they go. My leftover cookies have definitely been consumed. It's a little before 2 o'clock, and it is really nice outside, mid-60s, sunny. I think I'm going to take this operation outside. Heard the freight train whistle, and the freight train is definitely coming. There it is. Ooh, that actually looks like a passenger train. I've been told that the cherry blossoms right there are sporting some amazing bee sounds. I don't have my recorder. I don't really need it because I don't need any more bee material, but I want to go check it out and maybe at least get a phone recording. Wow. It's very quiet. Quite something. I'm going to turn my phone upside down and point and stop talking. Because my iPhone's been out in the sun all day, my protective screen is starting to come off. I feel like it's permanently damaged. It's close to 1 a.m., so I'm not going to do a full debrief on the day here. You're just going to have to get it tomorrow because I'm going to actually wake up for breakfast tomorrow. But summary of the evening, so clover, and some really great conversation. So, yeah. That's the end of the day. I'm trying to remember everything that happened last night in a way that I can coalesce into a summary. This is why I like to do end of day summaries at the end of the day, because the next day, some of that memory has faded. We definitely played So Clover again, did a couple of rounds. After that, the nighttime crowd gathered around the fire. It's not even what we were talking about, because we flitted around between lots of different topics. It's more, and I was talking about this with Gina this morning at breakfast, it's more the idea that the environment here lends itself to feel like you're in a safe place to be vulnerable and truly treat your vulnerability as a strength. Almost like when you're watching Hot Ones and everyone gets to wings 6, 7, and 8 and starts to feel it, and that mask of who they are as a celebrity or a public figure falls away because they can't handle the heat, and the real them comes out. Here, it's a very similar idea, except for without the need for that hot wing conduit, that spice conduit. Instead, it's just more this community aspect of everybody respecting and approaching their creative practice and their personal life in a way that allows the truth of a person, warts and all, in a way to come out that is still accepted. Quincy was talking to her partner on the phone at some point, and she was saying, I'm not ready to leave these friends that I've gained. And he came back and said, do you mean acquaintances? Because you've only known them for 10 days. People that have been involved in the marching band world or the drum corps world or other pageantry arts knows that a community can be built really quickly when it starts with the basis of this commonality. And the commonality in, say, I'll just use drumline as an example, is that everybody's there to focus on how to become better as a group in executing percussion music. And a group coalesces around focusing that energy to be able to create a great end product, and that they're being there for each other and helping each other and building collectively something that's really strong. And that particular community aspect is something that's very important to me and something that I know really well. But here the energy is different because in drum corps, drumline, that sort of thing, it's about focusing a particular energy to get everybody to be able to play the same way and to march the same way. Here, the creative voice and creative practice of all of the individuals is left intact. Everybody is still doing their own thing, but we're all being there for each other and inspiring each other and working together to help each other become stronger versions of our individual selves as opposed to necessarily being a single collective. I've had a few people tell me that my percussion quartet or something else that I've done has helped inspire some of the work that they're doing in their creative practice and some of the stuff that they're doing at the VCCA. And the same is definitely true for me. There's some stuff that I've seen visually, there's some stuff that I've heard that has made me rethink and reshift the way that I think about how I want to write music. And being a part of a community that can immediately create that is really what makes places like this the most important. It's a little before 9:30, and the morning is awash with lots of bird calls, which hopefully you can hear in the background. I didn't end up going to sleep last night until around 2:30 or 3, but I still woke up at around 7:30 so that I could have breakfast, specifically to be able to say goodbye to like the 6-ish people that are leaving today that I've gotten to know pretty well. It'll be interesting to see what happens when the new people get immersed into the world of the people that are already here and still here. So one of the things that Vizzie wants in this is a instrument change, a textural change. I was resistant to adding other instruments just because I wanted to make sure that the schlep of the percussionist was as minimal as possible. But it's not my project, and I understand the need for a texture change. The other thing I've been doing with this movement is this super dense section. I've made some cuts and added some repeats in areas of the text that needed a little bit more of a handhold between the player and the actor. Originally, for example, this area here was this checkpoint, and the playing was pretty straight through until this measure 2 that was used as a catch-up mechanic, where the performer can repeat this as many times as needed for the text to catch up before it syncs again. And Vizzie wanted, which I completely understand, to have more of those kind of checkpoints. I used those because those were silence points, but now I've inserted other repeat checkpoints between continuous music so that if the performers need to, say, start at letter B or start at another area, it's a lot easier to go in smaller chunks and to have those checkpoints be guideposts for how the text and the performance needs to be dealt with. It's now 3 o'clock. I've gotten some good stuff done. The revisions to Vizzie's 2 scenes for her spoken word opera are done. I don't have the means to physically print out scores here to do some final notation scouring, but I did put it on my iPad, and that helped. I think that what I'm going to do now is head back to my room and see if I can do at least part of that hike/walk with this phone strapped around my neck somehow, so that I can try to record myself doing a hike and use that as a potential field recording for the video for the second movement. All right, here we go again. Except this time I've got a homegrown little backpack thing that has my other phone on it. We're gonna go down the blue trail this time. I think maybe I'll start recording as soon as I get down around towards the bottom of the bend. I do also have a trusty hiking stick, so here goes nothing. One negative to this rig is that I can't really see my feet So I'm not 100% sure where I'm stepping, which with my left foot, because it has some nerve damage and muscle atrophy, is not the greatest. Wow, that was not a long hike, even a little bit. Look at that sky. Currently midnight. It was a good day for community. There's going to be probably a whole new slew of people that are coming in tomorrow. It'll be interesting to be on the other end of this whole experience, where when I first came in, there were these really interesting and amazing people that were on their way out, and I was just the first one in. And then it turned into the crowd that I've been with for the past couple of weeks, where I got to know them the most and became really good friends with some really amazing people. And then this coming week, I, along with 4 or 5 other people, are going to be in our last week, where new people coming in are only going to get to know us for a few days to a week. When I leave here, I'll both be not want to leave, but also be ready to leave, and to know that I'm carrying this connection of the people that I've met and have met me with me for a very long time. It's about 9:30 Monday morning. I'm in this luxurious position where all the stuff that I had planned on getting done, Be Kind and the 2 scenes from Felicity's spoken word opera, are both done. I'm not going to slack off or anything. I'm still going to be productive while I'm here, but there's just less pressure. I can treat the last week that I have here as more of a playground to get ahead of some stuff, as opposed to worrying about anything in particular. If I can get a good handle on Max's video manipulation capabilities and generation capabilities, that bodes well for how I try to do more motion graphics or video stuff for future projects in ways I know that I'm interested in. I'm looking at the spreadsheet of fellows, and it looks like there's going to be 6 new people today. Watching a lot of jitter tutorials, and this guy is named Federico. He has a YouTube channel called Amazing Max Stuff, and a lot of stuff, his stuff in earlier videos is really advanced and doing some crazy stuff, but he started a series that is a tutorial series that is very well explained for beginners. So I'm going through this. I'm familiar with jitter enough that the first tutorial was just a refresher, but we're getting into some stuff and some details of things that are important that I did not know before. Here's a taste of what his voice sounds like. Understand that I'm currently watching these at 1.25 speed.
Per second. Okay, cool. So in the first video, we saw how we can represent a jitter matrix, which is kind of this abstract concept. It's more like a data structure concept. We saw how we can represent it as an actual object inside Max, and this we can do through the jitter matrix object.
There you go. So I just watched about 3.5 hours worth of tutorial videos and guides and stuff. The basics I got a pretty good handle on. Once I got further along, I discovered that Max has a set of objects called Vizzie that are pre-packaged things like plugins that makes jitter manipulation way easier. So it's a good place to start to get very quick results. The more that I learn about some of the stuff behind the scenes, then the more I can manipulate and fine-tune some of the details. Whoa, spider. So dinner tonight was a chicken and mushroom in a gravy kind of thing, some zucchini, some salad, asparagus, and then sweet bananas in like a honey sauce that was served over bread. Of the 6 new people that showed up, I sat at dinner with one of them named Chris, who is an abstract visual artist who's from Florida. I said hello to 2 guys that are here as collaborators together in installation art. who I thought were from Oregon, but it's more that they spent a 6-week residency in Oregon that they came, I guess, directly here from. And then on my way back to the studio, I met Daphne, who is a writer from Baltimore. It's really interesting, my mentality around it. I definitely always enjoy meeting new people, but I think that I'm in this really strange mindset. We'll see what happens as time goes by, and if there's more socializing stuff that happens, if I develop any connections with any of the new people. I think I figured it out from a small text exchange with Catherine. I don't think I'm ready to say hello to new people yet when I'm not quite done emotionally saying goodbye to the people that just left that I became good friends with. So I've been doing some basic messing around with Vizzie. This is the video in its original dimensions. I'm only playing a section of it and then looping it. And then I did first some rotation, and the rotation splits it in half because the dimensions of the film wouldn't cover this and it doesn't scale it. What I tried to do in Fast-Paced World, which was to have some edge work, and I have this as a tracer, which isn't bad, but the level of detail is pretty high and it doesn't get down to a very small grain, really. Not the same sort of grain that ScreenFlow does. And it also doesn't turn completely white. There's elements of this that still hold a little bit of color. And then there's a different kind of line sketching thing called Sketcher. And Sketcher does this. And if I have both Sketcher and Tracer on, it looks like that, which is interesting and kind of cool. But I'm only in my initial exploration of this and I need to do some more. I think what I might do is I might take the laptop back to the main residence hall and either try to do this while hanging out and socializing or just socialize some, because I'm feeling a little starved for company. But this is promising. I think I'll be able to get some good stuff done tomorrow and really develop a patch that I think is going to do what I want. This is making me want to do more of this stuff and make it into something that feels signature me. And this is giving me a good on-ramp to start pretty easy, but potentially get fairly complicated. So I'm pretty excited about this.